Ashton Kutcher is furious over his wife Mila Kunis' alleged betrayal after she subtly implicated him in Diddy's FBI investigation. Kutcher's impeccable reputation as a family man is clearly at stake. Reports suggest that Kunis claims her husband is hiding something crucial related to Diddy's case, but what exactly could that be? Watch this video as it uncovers several connections between Ashton Kutcher and Diddy, stirring controversy in Hollywood. In the wake of shocking allegations tied to Diddy's criminal indictment, Kutcher, known for his strong stance on social issues, especially his commitment to anti-human trafficking efforts through his organization, Thorn, now finds himself in an awkward spotlight. His wife, Mila Kunis, has reportedly distanced herself from him. Speculations about Kutcher's possible ties to Diddy have been circulating subtly for years, but recent developments have thrust them into the limelight. The implications are complex and may damage both Kutcher's public image and the foundation of his marriage. Kutcher's social influence is well documented, and his close circle has been aware of his connections with some of Hollywood's most powerful elites. Kutcher has frequently spoken on important social issues, especially through his work with Thorn, which has garnered widespread support and attention for its fight against human trafficking. Celebrities and activists alike, but Kerr's involvement in light of Diddy's accusations has now raised suspicions. Some people theorize that Ashton's dedication to these issues might be part of his carefully cultivated public image. A strategy to counterbalance his consciousness at Hollywood's top levels, the FBI's involvement now raises the possibility of deeper ties that, if confirmed, could rock the industry to its foundation. The FBI investigation raises the possibility that there is much more going on here than just a public image cleanup. With the FBI now allegedly involved in investigations that may link back to multiple high-profile Hollywood figures, there is a growing belief that some shocking revelations could soon surface for his fans. The idea that Kutcher could be indirectly connected to Diddy's alleged crimes introduces a troubling narrative that even the most ardent of fans cannot ignore. Ashton exemplifies social awareness, humor, and intellect, but as more information becomes available, it seems like there may be a darker, more profound tale that might upend his reputation. Few people are aware of Ashton's extended relationship with Sean Diddy, the legendary rapper and mogul whose career has experienced as many name changes as it has scandals. Even though many are familiar with him from his work in entertainment and technology, a pivotal player in the music industry of the 1990s, Sean Combs, famously known as Puff Daddy, Fluffy P. Diddy, and subsequently Simply Love, founded Bad Boy Records in 1993 and quickly transformed it into Bad Boy Entertainment, a name that has come to represent success. Well, and at times danger, the name Diddy has become a near-legendary figure in music history thanks not only to his own music but also to the meteoric rise of Christopher Wallace, known to the world as the notorious Big or Biggie Wallace, who became the heartbeat of Bad Boy, bringing a new style and energy that quickly made him one of the most iconic figures in hip-hop. Tragically, Biggie's life was cut short at just 24 years old, but his legacy continues to generate millions for Diddy's empire. This immense and continued profit from Biggie's image over 2 decades after his passing keeps Diddy in the public eye, often under scrutiny. Now, it seems the threads connecting Ashton Kutcher and Diddy are woven far deeper than anyone realized. Their friendship spans back years, yet until recently it wasn't something the public knew much about for some fans. It's a surprise that the laid-back Ashton, known for his social advocacy work, would have ties with a figure as polarizing as Diddy, who has frequently faced lawsuit accusations and a history linked to hip-hop's most infamous feuds. Diddy's work in the music business has not been without criticism, particularly in relation to how he handled Biggie's legacy. Many insiders assert that Diddy has made money off of Biggie's name and likeness for far longer than the artist was alive, raising ethical concerns about how he treats his artists and their legacies. This is in spite of Bad Boy Entertainment's star-studded past, which has left a trail of broken careers and accusations of exploitation. Despite these scandals, Diddy has consistently escaped major consequences and maintained an almost impenetrable image. Could Ashton, who reportedly distanced himself from the usual Hollywood power maneuvers, have unintentionally or intentionally associated himself with these darker activities? When Ashton first began making waves outside of television in the early 2000s, he started the MTV prank show Punk, which became a cultural phenomenon and propelled him to a new level of fame. Meanwhile, Diddy had successfully transitioned from his musical roots to reality TV with Making the Band. Ashton and Diddy became friends. With Ashton and Diddy riding waves of MTV-fueled fame, their worlds inevitably intertwined, adding a new dimension to Diddy's image as a tastemaker. This MTV series featured groups of young musicians competing for a position in Diddy's very selective roster. The pair quickly became buddies. The bond was evident in almost every area of their social lives. In addition to their frequent appearances together, Ashton and Diddy also developed an unusual rapport. Ashton once called their friendship bizarre yet comfortable, describing how their interactions seemed almost normal, such as Ashton running with Diddy during casual get-togethers and Diddy even joining Ashton on impromptu jogs when he visited his house. This close dynamic seemed unusual for the press-friendly couple who frequently mixed with well-known musicians and industry insiders. Ashton quickly established himself as a mainstay at Diddy's well-known gatherings, especially his renowned Labor Day white parties. List celebrities wore all white to these VIP gatherings, which were Hollywood spectacles that included opulent music and dance. Ashton took the center stage at Diddy's 2010 Labor Day party, where he mixed with well-known figures from the music, film, and fashion industries, completely immersing himself in Diddy's world. However, these events were more than just parties. They were also significant networking locations where business agreements, partnerships, and alliances were discreetly established for Ashton, who was just beginning to dabble in the When Time magazine named Ashton one of the 100 most important people in 2010, Diddy himself screamed his praises, referring to Ashton as a sounding board and likening their relationship to that of yin and yang. These events provide access to prominent individuals in the business and its world. By portraying Ashton as the cool opposite of his own larger-than-life persona, Diddy established Ashton as a confidante and a peer in the media industry. In a 2019 episode of Hot Ones, a well-liked program where celebrities eat spicy wings and respond to intimate questions, Ashton and Diddy's friendship gained a new level of curiosity. Ashton was both physically and metaphorically on the hot seat. He was questioned by presenter Sean Evans over his involvement in Diddy's well-known parties. Ashton chuckled, obviously torn between the need to be quiet and the need to talk. His statement, "I have stories that I just can't tell," had spectators wondering what may really occur behind closed doors. Ashton's unwillingness to provide information on Diddy's well-known parties, which have long been said to be over the top affairs with what happens here stay here. With new accusations against Diddy containing grave crimes like sex trafficking and racketeering, the vibe now appears to have a darker undertone. This is not the first time Ashton has been at the center of controversy. Only last year, Ashton and his wife, Mila Kunis, were caught up in a media firestorm for their support of Danny Masterson, and now their relationship is being questioned, raising concerns about what he knew. Masterson, a former co-star on That 70s Show and Ashton's longtime buddy, was found guilty of 2 charges of rape and given a sentence ranging from 30 years to life in prison. The public was taken aback by Ashton and Mila's choice to write character references for Masterson, particularly when the case's horrific facts were revealed in their correspondence. Fans, critics, and even other celebrities criticized Ashton and Mila for seeming to downplay the suffering of Masterson's victims after they described him as a good man and an upright friend in comments that many felt were tone-deaf considering the seriousness of the crimes he was found guilty of. The backlash was swift. The uproar surrounding recent character letters for convicted felons sent by Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis when actress Christina Rhode Island posted on Instagram about the difficult reality of separating public admiration from private misdeeds, many took her message as aimed at the couple, even though Rhea didn't name them. Her pointed remarks about supporting victims, even when it means acknowledging that awesome guys can be abusers, resonated with the public and highlighted the discomfort that many felt towards Kutcher and Kunis' support of Masterson. Danny Masterson has damaged their Hollywood image, which was once carefully crafted to present them as trustworthy and socially conscious individuals. This hard-hitting reminder highlighted the emotional complexity of accepting that people who seem trustworthy or even exemplary to some can be harmful to others. In this case, Masterson had just been sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for 2 counts of sexual assault following a series of high-profile allegations and testimonies that detailed harrowing experiences. Rhea's statement struck a chord because sometimes people we have loved and admired do horrible things. They may not do these things to us, and we only know who they were to us. That doesn't mean they didn't do the horrible things. The backlash started when The Hollywood Reporter published the character letters Ashton and Mila submitted to the court urging leniency for Masterson. In his letter, Kutcher portrayed Masterson as a guiding influence who discouraged drug use and kept him on a positive path. He made it clear that whenever we were to meet or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, that wouldn't be a good person to be friends with. Many have seen Kutcher and Kunis' letters supporting him as a betrayal of their previously professed values, especially considering Ashton's role as a prominent advocate against abuse and trafficking through his organization, Thorn. Similar views were expressed by Mila Kunis, who presented Masterson as a person of extraordinary character. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher recently made headlines for their decision to submit character letters on behalf of Danny Masterson, their friend and former co-star of That 70s Show, who was just sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for rape. The letters were intended to present Masterson in a favorable light and were submitted with. In her letter, Kunis described Masterson as an exceptional older brother figure who she looked up to as a young actress breaking into the industry. She praised his mentorship and credited him with influencing her to stay away from drugs, which she believed played a significant role in her ability to stay grounded and focused amid the temptations and pressures of Hollywood. However, the public's reaction was swift and overwhelmingly negative, with many individuals viewing this as a betrayal of the values Kutcher and Kunis have publicly supported. In her letter, the Friends with Benefits actress emphasized how Masterson's advice helped her prioritize her health and make responsible decisions early in her career, with the intention of portraying Masterson as a mentor who had kept her on course. Danny's unwavering support of a drug-free lifestyle has been a guiding light in my journey through the entertainment industry. When the letters were made public, the backlash grew, with critics claiming that Ashton and Mila's descriptions of Masterson as a role model were tone-deaf in the context of his conviction. As the criticism grew, the couple addressed the controversy with a joint video apology. Many felt that these remarks dismissed or disregarded the serious crimes he had been convicted of. Kutcher's letter mirrored this sentiment, portraying Masterson as a protective figure who encouraged them both to avoid the pitfalls of fame. On a seductive website, they tried to explain the letter's context in the film on Saturday afternoon in an effort to make their intentions clear. They said that Masterson's family had first contacted them and asked them to compose the letters as characters, in order for the judge to fully consider the version of Danny that the witnesses knew from their 25-year friendship. Danny's family contacted us a few months ago, Kunis explained, and asked us to write character letters to represent the person we had known for 25 years. In addition, Kutcher stated that their letters were meant for the judge to read and were not meant to discredit the victim's testimony or traumatize them in any way. They also apologized if their words inadvertently hurt the victims or the public, emphasizing that they never intended to minimize the suffering and trauma endured by those who came forward. They would never want to do that and are sorry if it has happened. He emphasized their commitment to helping survivors of abuse and their support for victims after Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher's joint video apology. Critics were quick to express their displeasure, with many venting their outrage on X, previously Twitter. As many users pointed out, the couple's carefully chosen words left little room for a genuine apology. Instead, they seemed to reflect regret that the letters had been made public rather than remorse for supporting Masterson. The public response, which some saw as being overly polished and dishonest, attempted to explain the motivations behind the character letters they submitted on behalf of their friend and former co-star of That Seven show, Danny Masterson. It's crucial to remember that the letters, which included a lot of Scientology terminology, weren't just character letters you would write for a friend. Rather, they were meant to discredit the victims who were drugged by Danny. Prominent journalist Yashar Ali contributed to the discourse, writing on the platform. Ali's assessment revealed a more concerning feature of the letters. They weren't only pleas for mercy to some, they seemed to use language evocative of Scientology strategies, which might have undermined the victims' credibility and experiences. And this fueled the already raging fire, since it seemed that Ashton and Mila's letters aggressively supported Masterson in a manner that would have raised doubts about the veracity of the victim's testimony, rather than just offering a character witness statement. A further user summed up the overall impression that the apology felt we didn't realize our letter would be seen in public, but we still wanted to defend our awful buddy in court. This reflected the general perception that the couple's apology wasn't a sincere admission of guilt, but rather damage management meant to preserve their public perception. The contradiction between Ashton's long-standing sympathy for exploitation victims and his backing of Masterson, who has been found guilty of major sexual offenses, was another point of contention raised by opponents. Those associated with Kutcher's organization were aware of the absurdity of his letter endorsing Masterson. Thorn, which he and his ex-wife Demi Moore co-founded through partnerships with internet giants and law enforcement. Thorn, a non-profit organization dedicated to combating child sexual exploitation and human trafficking in the digital sphere, has been at the forefront of increasing awareness and creating technology to safeguard young victims. Thorn has played a significant role in upsetting trafficking organizations and assisting victims of sexual exploitation. Given this background, one commenter summed up Kutcher's letter on behalf of Masterson as a stark contradiction. Kutcher's public advocacy has frequently included passionate speeches on Capitol Hill, where he called for strong measures to fight abuse and champion the rights of vulnerable individuals. The annoyance of the public, I hope nobody forgot. After the fallout from Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis' apology for supporting Danny Masterson, many felt that Kutcher had betrayed the very victims he claimed to protect through his organization by supporting Masterson. It's interesting that a man who claims to support victims of sexual assault also defended a man who was accused of doing so. On Sunday, Christina Ricci clarified a recent Instagram post that some people thought was a subtle jab at the famous couple. In response to the circulating rumors around her first tweet denouncing people who tried to denigrate victims of abuse by labeling it a crime, Ricci posted an Instagram story. The message resonated because many people saw it as a direct criticism of Kutcher and Kunis' character qualities, particularly in light of their recent criticism for standing up for Masterson. Ray's comment did not identify the pair, however. Fans' concerns that it could have been meant at them were heightened by her word choice. Ray explained in her Sunday post that what I said wasn't meant to seem to be as direct as her original comment appeared to be. She posted something so incisive with her 1.6 million followers in an attempt to refute the idea that she was focusing on any one person. Although Rai made an effort to disassociate her remarks from any specific controversy, fans quickly pointed out that her remarks were almost too closely aligned with the recent uproar surrounding Kutcher and Kunis. Rai continued by explaining that her remarks were more general in nature, reflecting her struggles in reconciling the people she's known with the troubling actions they have been accused of. She added that recent events had undoubtedly intensified her thoughts on the subject as various people's wrongdoings have come to light over the past couple of years. Her explanation elicited conflicting reactions from the public. However, some fans thought she was still subtly referring to the couple, especially considering her harsh criticism of those who disparage victims. Others took her remarks as a more general statement, an honest expression of the cognitive dissonance that occurs when people we once admired are revealed to have committed horrible acts, a problem at the core of Kutcher and Kunis' complaint. This viewpoint was summed up by one admirer. She's correct when she says in an internet remark that they should be punished for their actions since they're very wrong and their apology is insufficient. Has gained traction in recent weeks since many people believe that Kutcher and Kunis may have unintentionally weakened Masterson by trying to defend him. Fans appreciate the legitimacy of his victims, and his position serves as a potent reminder of the obligations that accompany using one's influence, especially when supporting or opposing parties in court cases involving abuse or violence. Ashton Kutcher's backing of Danny Masters and the continuing issue around him have taken a drastic turn as unearthed film and fresh claims threaten to damage the actor's reputation. This weekend, Masterson's ex-girlfriend Chrissy Bixler courageously came forward after one of his accusers chose to use her Instagram platform to confront Kutcher directly. In addition to calling out the actor, she made a shocking revelation that could drastically change the story of his relationship with Masterson. Dear Ashton, Bix's post was more than simply an emotional scream, it was a well-considered statement with many ramifications. I am aware of the secrets your role model has about you that might lead to your demise. By bringing up a particular instance, this comment implies that Bixler has knowledge that might damage Kutcher's reputation and is prepared to reveal it. Kutcher allegedly called Masterson on February 21, 2001. Bixler suggests that she has first-hand knowledge of conversations that could cast Kutcher in a much darker light. The seriousness of her claim is further enhanced by her assertion that she heard every word of the call. You were on speakerphone that night you called Danny, she said, stressing her presence during what she suggests was a crucial conversation. This suggests that Kutcher may have known about or even participated in Masterson's actions during their friendship, which has led to questions about how much he actually knew and what he might have chosen to ignore. Bixler's accusation frames. In addition to defending another friend, Kutcher may have contributed to Masterson's alleged predatory behavior by comparing Kutcher to your mentor. She aims to hold him responsible for his choices and actions, raising the possibility that his public persona as a kind and considerate person may be deceiving. The controversy revolves around the sharp contrast between Kutcher's support for victims through his nonprofit, Thorn, and his personal behavior, which has led both supporters and detractors to doubt his integrity. As Chrissy's revelations illuminated earlier episodes that are now being examined in the context of their relationships, the drama involving Ashton Kutcher and his connections to Danny Masterson has taken a terrifying turn. The night that Kutcher's ex-girlfriend Ashley Ellerin was brutally murdered in her Hollywood Hills apartment is one of Bixler's most eerie illusions. The date is etched in the memories of those who closely followed the case because it represents a pivotal and sinister period in Hollywood history. After calling her several times to express his desire to see her, Kutcher finally went to her flat, a decision that would later come back to haunt him. When he got there, he testified that he looked through the window and saw what he initially believed to be red wine pooled on the floor. It turned out to be blood, thinking that Ellerin wasn't home. He left without realizing the horror that had occurred inside, and Michael Gurulu, the killer, would later earn the nickname Grim. Bixler's implication that Kutcher has not fully dealt with the consequences of that night is striking, especially as she directly addresses Muniz in her comments. She wrote, I pray you begin to process what you experienced as a child on that set. Your old interviews are very telling, hinting at unresolved issues that Kunis might carry from her early experiences in the entertainment industry. This message is full of implications, implying that there may be more beneath the surface of Kunis' public persona and her past interactions within Hollywood, further complicating this story. Bixler shared a number of videos of Kutcher and Kunis in an effort to draw attention to their ostensibly improper interactions with Masterson and other people. One particularly noteworthy clip is from a Punk episode when Kutcher introduces Hilary Duff, who was just 15 at the time. Kutcher's comment that Hilary Duff is one of the females we're all waiting for to turn 18 is startling in hindsight and raises questions about the implications of his remarks. The statement raises questions about Kutcher's previous conduct and conveys a concerning perspective of young women that many viewers find disturbing. The situation between Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis has become extremely uncomfortable, especially since old footage of them has surfaced and is now being critically examined by many fans. In one particularly striking clip, the couple recalls their first meeting and their first kiss on the set of that '70s show. While this may have seemed like a lighthearted moment at the time, it has taken on a much darker undertone in the wake of recent events, with viewers now questioning the appropriateness of their behavior, especially in relation to their former co-star Danny Masterson. Fans have responded strongly to these clips, with many calling for Kutcher to be cancelled. Another fan bluntly said, "Disgusting then." And disgusting now, highlighting the idea that nostalgia for their early romance cannot overshadow the uncomfortable realities of Kutcher's associations and the implications of his past actions. Additionally, Ashton Kutcher videos showed him and Danny clearly creeping on these young girls. "We need more of this." This public outrage reflects a substantial change in the way that people see celebrity behavior, especially when such behaviors are linked to grave accusations of misbehavior. Amidst this online BL frenzy, a more urgent issue is the apparent Mila Kunis has been silent about the entire Diddy scandal for weeks. And there have been rumors of a possible breakup fueled by people close to the couple, saying that Kunis is becoming more uneasy with Diddy's connections. The situation has gotten more serious since reports surfaced that the FBI was looking into Diddy's associates, raising the possibility that Kunis is separating from Kutcher for personal reasons. Beyond simple unease, a recent gossip podcast examined the possibility that Mila might be working with law enforcement behind the scenes, which would increase the stakes even further if she were to give federal investigators vital information. This would raise the alarming possibility that she might have information that could link Kutcher to Diddy's alleged illegal actions. Given that Kunis has been a constant in Kutcher's life for years and is probably privy to information about his relationships and transactions that others would not, this idea is especially concerning. What do you think of Mila Kunis' treatment of Ashton Kutcher? Please give your thoughts in the space provided below. We really hope you have found this video useful. If so, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for seeing, and we hope to see you in our upcoming films. Goodbye.